Good day, everyone, and welcome to Friday's live Q&A. Okay, I'm Dr. Darrell Wolfe, and I want to thank you for joining me today, and I hope that you and your family have had a Merry Christmas, and we know it's going to be a Happy New Year, because guess what? We're going to take massive personal action this year at what? Self-care, self-love, self-respect, self-discipline. Now, you know what? You might say to yourself, that's a lot of self, Dr. Wolfe. That might be just getting a little bit too selfish for me. Well, I will tell you something. You have been taught to not focus on your health. Why do you think we're in this mess? Why do you think 92% of the population has autoimmune disease? 1 out of every 2 people are going to experience cancer. And guess what? You only have a very slim chance, like 2.21% chance of being alive 5 years later if you go the medical route. Did you hear what I said? Now, most people are going to do that because guess what? We are programmable, and they know how to program us. You are programmed not to take care of yourself. Tell me you do. Tell me that you feel energy. You're not tired. Okay? Your energy is restored very quickly. That you digest properly. That you have great bowel movements. That you feel like you can take a deep breath. That you do not tire easy. Okay? That you're not always walking around hungry. So understand something. This is the year we're going to get it together. Okay? I just put out what's called the A to Z, okay, Wellness Masterclass. All right? And we have 200 more spots. A lot of people had trouble getting on there because they had to put in their Visa card and they thought that they would have to pay. So understand, there's 200 spots left. And when they're gone, then there will be no more free spots. Then you will have to pay. Then it'll be $5 a month. But the last 200 spots, if you sign up, you'll have a lifetime membership with us. And I'll be putting in 3 more master classes over the next 8 months. And these other master classes are going to help to support what I've already put in there. But I promise you that if you go through the A to Z Wellness Masterclass, you're going to understand the human body better than you've ever did before. You're going to see how the medical system treats things and how I would like you to treat yourself. Because I would truly like you to treat yourself well. I would truly like you to know how to create the perfect day for yourself from the minute you wake up until you go to bed. Wouldn't it be great to be the master of your mind, the master of your body? Wouldn't it be great that when the crap hits the fan, you don't react? You stay connected to your breath and you go, should I take action or should I mind my own business? And understand, wouldn't it be great that everything that was going on out in the world, you didn't stick your nose into? And wouldn't it be great if you realized that most of it was BS, because it is, dysfunctional belief systems? You know, the government gives us more BS, okay? And media gives us more BS. And the problem is that your family even gives you that, which is dysfunctional belief systems. Because there's dysfunctional belief systems everywhere. Because if we had functional belief systems, we definitely wouldn't be in this mess. Okay? We would not be having where, we can't even afford medical care, or the hospitals are so jammed up, or we wouldn't be attacking ourselves if we understood, okay, what life was truly about. You wouldn't be doing toxic drugs. You wouldn't do chemo. You wouldn't do radiation. You wouldn't definitely go for surgery until you found out if you can actually reverse the condition you have, because your body will heal itself. But ever since the medical system came in 100 years ago, which the MA only came around in 1910. Before then, it was all, you had a garden in your backyard, you grew your own herbs, okay, and you were your own practitioner. And then guess what? Then they taught us that the human body does not heal, okay, and that there are no answers for most diseases. We don't know why they come about, and but this is all we can do for now. I mean, have you had enough yet? Have you truly had enough yet? Look, it's not me against the medical system, but the reality is is this, is that they're in emergency care. You cannot use them as your health care. They're not even into health, but you call that health care? I mean, are we like insane here? Look, I'm going to tell you a story. This happened just the other night. So I was talking to some really good friends of ours out of Calgary. Her best friend lives in Princeton, okay? And that's just north of here, a few hours. So anyways, so she goes in because she has pain in her breast. So she goes in to find out what it is. Now, understand something. Women are already freaked out that if they have a little bit of pain in their breast, they're already freaked out anyways because it's all about breast cancer. I mean, the more you advertise something, the more you feed it, the more alive it becomes. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't be on protecting yourself. But the thing is that prevention is not called standing in the shower and feeling your breast to find out what's wrong with it. Prevention is knowing that how to detox, knowing how to feed yourself, knowing how to love yourself and care for yourself. That's called prevention, everybody. Just so I'd like you to know that, right? But that's not what we've been taught. So she goes in and they go, oh yeah, you've got something going on there. We should do a biopsy. They do a biopsy. They tell her, oh, this is cancerous. All right. So we got to move fast. This is aggressive. So what do? They cut her breast off. They do chemo on her. Now she's got chemo brain. Just 4 days ago, they call her up and tell her, oh, we made a mistake. You never had cancer. Meanwhile, now they're trying to reconstruct and build a breast again for her. So understand something. So now she's all upset. So now she wants to get a lawyer. But guess what? No lawyer will touch the case. Why am I telling you this? Not to make the medical system look bad. The thing is this. People are just people. And people get trained to do things certain ways. And have you ever noticed when you go to the hospital, I don't know who made the training manual, but they're always causing fear and panic in everyone. You got to do it now. You got to take that medication now. If you don't, it could be the end. You got to have that surgery now. You got to have that chemo now. You got to have that radiation now. Whatever happened to just calming down? Whatever happened to believing in God Almighty that created the universe and created a body that can heal itself? You know what? Just the fear and the panic and the anxiety is going to create the dis-ease. We should be trying to say to people, okay, let's calm down. Let's just take this thing, because anytime you've ever panicked and jumped the gun, you've usually made a mess or broke something. Anyways, it's a new year, and guess what? We don't need a new you. We need the authentic you. We need you to go in, okay, and become spirited. We need you to go in and feed your spirit. We need you to go in and raise your vibration. We need you to understand that you need to hold the line. You need to hold the loving line for yourself, okay? Even not against your family, but holding the loving line and telling your family, this is who I am, this is what I need, and this is what I'm going to do for myself. We need to hold the line for society's systems out there, and because that's the only way that we are ever going to get what we deserve, okay? And what do you deserve? You deserve everything, okay? All right? You were created to create. Take a look at your body, take a look at your life, and then you'll see what type of creator you are. And you know what? You can change this at any time. Whether you want to believe this or not, but every disease starts off as an emotion, a dysfunctional one that you could not process properly, that was never yours in the first place, that was downloaded, okay, to you, to your subconscious, unconsciously. You didn't know it. But ask yourself, why would people do things, drink things, eat things, and do things that are harming their body, poisoning themselves and their families? Okay, we know that if we buy Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's mutated, it's got chemicals, hormones in it, and it makes you sick every time you eat it, but meanwhile, you still buy it. We know that being overweight, okay, being overweight and obese, we're going to have diabetes or cancer. We're not going to have the life that we deserve, but we still do it because we've been programmed, because corporations now run this world. But who runs the corporations? Oh, I'm not going to get into that one. But corporations run the world. And who runs our government but corporations? All right? So, just something to think about. This is a new year. And I would love for you to find the authentic you, because when you find the authentic you are going to totally fall in love, because that you are mainly spirit. And when you can feel your spirit rise, look, you got to get to the point in life that no matter what happens, what chaos happens, you remain calm. Now, have you learned how to stay calm in the midst of chaos? Because there's going to be chaos in your family. There's going to be chaos out there in the systems. There's going to be chaos always going on. Because understand, corporations, they feed off our chaos. They feed off our fear. They feed off our anxiety. Okay? All right. So let's get to questions. And just know this. I've got my phone, my trusty little phone. Oh, look, there's already a question. Julie from YouTube. We always do the live ones first, everybody. Julie from YouTube says, hello, Dr. Wolfe. And then the phone shuts down. 1 second. She says, hello, Dr. Wolfe. My niece, 1-month-old baby, started having acid reflux. She breastfeeds. I told her to watch her diet and to take baking soda. Any other suggestions? Okay, all right. Okay, so her niece has a 1-month-old baby, and she gets acid reflux all the time. Well, for one thing, we know that if she gets acid reflux, stress can cause that, because when you have anxiety and that fight or flight, you're dumping hydrochloric acid into your stomach, but there's no food in there, so it creates an acidic situation. So learn how to connect to your breath and start. You know what you should do? You should be doing the belly button therapy. The belly button therapy kit. Is there a belly button therapy behind me somewhere? Can you hand it over to me? Thank you. All right, so this is belly button therapy, and you can order these. These are inexpensive from us, and it's got a little buddy on the end here. But you put that in your belly button, and if you were to start to do that, believe it or not, the vagus nerve sits behind the belly button. And when you do that, you trigger the vagus nerve. That releases dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. That spells dose. So you get your daily dose. But it dumps like 50% serotonin, 70% dopamine. So it puts you into a relaxive state. And it also helps you to become more flexible in your body, more open. Okay. So I would suggest that you do that. But yes, doing baking soda, like a level teaspoon of baking soda in about an 8-ounce glass of water, you should take that. But if she's getting heartburn, acid reflux, and if she's getting that often, then what I would suggest that she does is to mid-morning, take a teaspoon of that in baking soda, drink it, and do it again around 1 or 2 o'clock, and buffer down that acid until she learns how to calm her emotions down. But here's the deal. One of the biggest things about, okay, she's got a 1-month-old baby. So she could be exhausted, but the reality is that I guarantee you she has bowel problems. And when you've got a bowel problem, even though it's at the other end, 30 feet at the other end, when you've got a cork up there, it actually will create, acid problems in the stomach. Isn't that the craziest thing? Yeah, because guess what? You're backing up traffic. So I would tell her to get on the daily cleansing tea, the tummy love, do the baking soda, get rid of any dairy products. And it's really important that you food combine. Otherwise, making sure proteins can go with starches. I mean, proteins can go with vegetables, starches can go with vegetables, but not proteins and starches together. Because if you're exhausted from birthing the baby, and if your bowels aren't moving right, then that's going to back up your digestion. And if you're not food combining properly, because when you're tired and fatigued, you don't make enough or quality hydrochloric acid to digest food if you overeat or miscombine. Now, I'm a blood type A, and blood type A's, their hydrochloric acid is a lot weaker than O's. So if you're an A type 2, then you've got to understand, then you've got a vegetarian metabolism. So I'm not telling you that I never eat animal protein, but the reality is if I were to go and eat animal protein like the average person, I would be like in big trouble. All right? So I hope that that answers your question. Let's see here. Okay. Horse Healing on YouTube says, hi, I'm really enjoying Masterclass. Only 10 more videos to go and a lot reading of self-love. Sometimes people put in messages that aren't really worded that well. Okay, so Brenda Corleen on Facebook, she says, my eye doctor says I have scar tissue in my eye from several viral infections in my eye. How do I get rid of the scar tissue? Thank you. Happy New Year. Okay. Well, first of all, you know what? Your eye doctor's right. If you've got like bacterial problems, fungal problems, viral problems, if they're in your eye, they're in your body. They're not just in your eye. Okay? Now, your eye, for some reason, is the weak link. So if you really want to help your eyes out, then you better look at your bowels first, look at your liver second. So let's do some bowel cleansing. Let's do some liver cleansing. And the best liver cleanse will always be a coffee enema. Look at the ultimate coffee enema in the Perfect Day Guide and understand something. And look at the daily cleansing tea and tummy love. I'll keep everything down to a minimum. This show is not about selling or pushing product, all right? But take a look at tummy love. Take a look at daily cleansing tea. And also make sure that you're drinking plenty of water. Believe it or not, if you were drinking enough structured water, you probably wouldn't have viruses. You probably wouldn't have bacterial problems. I'm not kidding. That's how important water is, and especially structured water. And people always say, oh, yeah, I drink water. Well, I don't believe it because, you know, I watch people all the time, and they tell me they drink water. But understand, women 3 quarts, men 4 quarts. If you're overweight, you're looking at 5 quarts. And understand something. A lot of it has got to do with the EMF as well, because EMF really affects the blood and all the liquid in the body. And the more structured water you take, the more you're getting rid of those negative frequencies, okay? Now, understand something too, that eye problems are really big now. Eye problems have actually gotten 1,000% worse in the last 10 years. Why? I'll tell you why. Blue light, okay? Like even from these lights, from all the lights in your house, from looking at your iPhone, from looking at your computer screen, from watching TV, from shopping in the mall with all the lights there, airports, all the neon lights. All of that is blue light, and it's destroying the eyes. This is why I tell everyone that if you've got any eye problems at all, or you work on a computer, or you want to protect and have beautiful eyesight, then I would take a look at our Tesla eyewear, because that takes the blue light and it totally turns it into a beautiful frequency light that will actually heal the eyes instead of damaging them. Now, if you've got scar tissue in your eye, all right, I got to tell you right now, that's a fair bit of damage. So I would be doing like the silver spray or silver bullet eye drops, silver bullet spray in your eyes, and I would be doing the Bright Eyes nano drops, and I would be doing those each about 3 times each a day. I mean, that seems like a lot, but the reality is we got to go in there and soak. We got to make sure the silver bullet's going to negate and neutralize any type of viral bacterial problem, and then the fulvic goes in and picks up the acidity and the toxins. All right, so it's kind of like a team effort. And remember something, we know that the liver's connected to the eyes. We also know that sugar, dairy, gluten, and any GMO foods are going to destroy her eyes. So understand this. In this world today, there's such heavy propaganda and programming that most people never ever start to look after themselves until it's too late. So Suzi McCanna on Facebook, my naturopathic herbalist practitioner, recently passed away. It's wonderful to find you on here. Much love. Thank you. I appreciate that. Understand something too. People think that they need to have their naturopathic doctor in their same town or in their same neighborhood. You know, I consult people from all over the world, and I hardly do any local business. I might do one consult locally once every 2 or 3 months, but I will do 15 to 20 consults a week, and they'll be done on Skype, Facebook, or whatever. And I'm not doing this to promote my consults right now, But find yourself a great practitioner. Don't find yourself a local practitioner. Oh, unless you can find a local great practitioner, good. But then also find a practitioner that's going to do this. Like when somebody pays for a consultation for me, they pay one time, they never pay again, because if I'm really as good as I think I am or say I am, then I should be able to get those people to the home plate. We'll also offer a money-back guarantee. And, and it's not like you're not going to end up giving money back to some people, because some people they live in a family where it's very difficult to love yourself, to take care of yourself, because everybody says you're selfish. Because if you've been running a program where you do for everyone else and you never look after yourself and you start looking after yourself, that puts the whole family in shock. And it's not like they attack you for it. It's just that their subconscious is built that you're supposed to do everything for them. You've never done anything for yourself. So what is it? You don't love us anymore? So, yeah. Anyways. So Colette Brooks, wonderful and such great, insightful information. Thank you for your answer to my question regarding my removed gallbladder. Well, first of all, you never want to remove your gallbladder. Most people don't have to remove their gallbladder. You just have to change your diet. But you know what? If to change your diet, you'd have to change your personality. People go, what do you mean change your diet, change your personality? Well, because you're making different decisions and you have to view things differently. So you have to change your personality to change your reality, right? So she got her gallbladder removed 40 years ago. I'm almost 64. I'll be detoxing and getting myself right before I consult you about my severe scoliosis. You mentioned you could mostly straighten that out and invited me to travel to your facility. Yes, and I will tell you something. Okay, getting rid of your gallbladder would have caused more scoliosis. Why? Well, because you're not digesting the fats now and the oils properly. Boom. So that creates more bowel problems, which creates more toxicity, which creates more acidity. And the more acidic you are, the more twisted you become. And scoliosis, okay, so you can have scoliosis or kyphosis. You know, kyphosis is when people are bent and their heads are like this, right? Okay, all right. I guess they're trying to get ahead of the game. You know, there's always an emotion behind everything. But with scoliosis, it's this way. So understand. So if you've got scoliosis, you would have it where the bend is here. You have these muscles being dominant, and over here, these muscles being weak. So we have to create balance. But the problem is these get more dominant as more scar tissue is applied in around the vertebrae. Understand something, and I want you to understand this, that with our protocol, I won't say that we can reverse every scoliosis, but we pretty well have reversed almost every scoliosis that's ever come to our clinic. And if we haven't reversed it, we've done it enough that the person doesn't have to live and suffer. But remember, if you've got scoliosis, you're going to see that when your diet's off and when you're emotionally out of balance and you have anxiety and fear, you're going to see the scoliosis gets worse. And that's because of the acid. The acidity creates more scar tissue, and that dehydrates the tissues. And when you dehydrate the tissues, they get shorter. And when they get shorter, right, it pulls things out of place. All right. And then there's a lot of there's a lot of calcium being displaced from the vertebrae as well in that area to cement that area, to stop it from moving and to keep the inflammation away. So this can all be reversed. And you know what? It can't be reversed. I will tell you this much. If you've got scoliosis and you want somebody to reverse it, you could come here to us if it was slight. But if your scoliosis is really bad, then you've got to come here with a friend. You've got to come here with your husband, your wife, or your son, or somebody that you can trust that truly loves you. And then we could teach them what we know, and we will help to start to really get rid of, we'll get rid of the scoliosis. That will do dramatic changes while you're here with us for, usually people come for a week. But the reality is that person who loves you is going to take it to the home plate. And between doing the pelvic stretching, the diet, the detox, and other exercises that we have you do, you're going to win. You're going to take this back. Remember something, it's repetition and discipline. Repetition and discipline and being focused. All right? All right. Next thing. I wanted to ask what to do with with a torn cartilage. Everyone says I should have an operation. Oh, this is Llanna, okay? And everyone says I should have an operation. Is there any way I can save myself? Oh my gosh. Okay, all right. You know what? I want to say this, and you can't do it for yourself, but I will tell you that it would take us about a half an hour to 45 minutes to show you that we can completely turn this around. How's that? All right. And what we do, and please don't get me wrong, it's just that the whole of society has been taught by the medical system that nothing can be figured out, nothing can be fixed. All right. I'm just like, this is such insanity. Okay, so what I do is I offer a money-back guarantee on the first treatment that we will blow your mind. And if we don't blow your mind, then you don't pay. And I truly mean that. And we blow everybody's minds when they come here, because once if I had a shoelace and I tie a knot, is the shoelace longer or shorter? It's shorter. That's okay. So now the scar tissue crystallization calcium is shortening up everything. And because of the tears that are in there, your body lays all kinds of scar tissue and way too much of it. Understand something. When you tore the cartilage, or when you have a hip problem or knee problem, ankle problem, doesn't matter where in the body, doesn't matter what the inflammation is, what the disease is, or the injury, there's always inflammation. Now, the more inflammation there is and the more damage there is, the more scar tissue the body will lay down. The body will lay down more scar tissue than it ever needs. Do you get this? If you get anything from this show today, the body will lay down 10 times more scar tissue than it needs. Did you get that? And it will pull calcium from the nearby bones, and it will use lactic and uric acid crystals to stick it all together. And that is the natural process of healing any part of the body. Now, here we go. So understand, usually you have like your fibers, and they're all in line properly, right? And when you tear something, the body puts fibrin on, just lays it on, throws it on fast. Okay, it's like stat, let's do this. Okay, so it lays down 10 times too much scar tissue. And it is scar tissue. It's like beef jerky. But it's helping you. That's what it's doing. It's defending you. So then it brings the calcium in to buffer down the acid from the inflammation, so you don't have mutation, and so that there's no more tissue degeneration. Do you understand? And then it gets the lactic and uric acid, and it uses those crystals, because they're sticky, to stick everything. So the scar tissue is to wall out predators, because viral, bacterial will attack weakened tissue, right? Like the lady's eyes we talked about earlier. So the scar tissue walls off the predators. It also helps to jam in the inflammation so it doesn't spread. The calcium buffers down the inflammation and the acidity. That's why that's used. Okay? And then the crystallization from the lactic uric acid sticks it all together. Okay? Like glue. So, believe it or not, because of the overcompensation, when somebody injures themselves, or even if they have an organ that's in trouble, the organ's inflamed, the organ has the same situation going on. While the healing's going on, we should go in there with Wolfe non-surgical deep tissue therapy and take that scar tissue gently apart to let the blood flow come back in, the oxygen, the nutrition, and carry away the waste. Now, here's the problem. Torn cartilage. When the body heals that torn cartilage, you are going to have a lump here, and it's going to hurt. And you're going to go try to get your full range of motion, but you won't have it. It won't be elastic anymore, because guess what? Scar tissue is not elastic. What is elastic? Connective tissue. Healthy connective tissue that has blood supply, oxygen, and lymph supply, so that the toxins are being carried away. End of story. So now, somebody who says, but nobody comes to us usually while the healing process. But after the healing process, I'm going to tell you something. Do you know what old age is? Grandpa, you're stiff as a board. You know what? Oh, I've got this war wound, from sports like 10 years ago. Or you just seem to get stiffer and older. And you know what? Don't worry, guys. Okay? Just keep hanging around with people your age, and I promise you'll feel healthy. All right. Go hang around with someone young and you're going to feel like you're old, right? Well, I can hang around with young people and keep up with them, okay? And I will be 64. And I keep saying that because it's important you get this. Both of my parents were dead before 55. Okay? All right? Their bodies were, but they weren't. They left. But the thing is, their bodies wore out because they didn't know how to look after them. They really didn't. Okay? And that was the big shame. You know, how would you like to be a practitioner, okay, and trying to teach your parents, right, about how to look after their bodies, but they never ever did. And my parents never loved themselves. My mother was an alcoholic, okay, who loved us dearly, but she hated herself. She was raped by her father, okay, a few times, lots of times. I won't get into it. But the reality is, so she, you know, and her whole life, she was trying to win his love back because, wow, we get so messed up, don't we? Okay, and then my father, he was a pastor, and he would tell me all the time, I can't wait to be with Jesus. Well, yeah, Jesus was a great man. I understand that. But the reality is my father never knew how to love us. So, anyways, where am I going? Okay, I'm going back. I got carried away. So inflammation. All right, with that torn cartilage, even after it's healed, it's not going to be good. Somebody needs to go in there and gently and lovingly take that apart. And once they do, and they bring back the blood flow, the lymph flow, and the energy flow that nobody wants to talk about. Oh my God, no, we don't have energy. What do you think the energy is in you? It's your spirit. I'm like, get over it. You know, I'm telling you, religion has made the spirit be something bad. And you know what? It's like miracles happen every day. We are the miracle. We are spirit, okay, down here having a physical experience, all right? So when you've got physical blocks in the body, and when you're getting older, believe it or not, your energy flow, your blood flow, your lymph flow cannot move as much. And that's why you feel old. That's why you don't have the energy. That's why you got to sleep more. That's why you can't do as much, all right? And I've proven that you can. You can do this. But you need to get rid of the physical blocks, and you need to get rid of the invisible blocks in your mind. The first thing would be to get rid of the invisible blocks in your mind, but people don't look at that because even back when I was a kid, when somebody was when somebody said, I'm going for therapy, emotional therapy, everybody thought, wow, do you need a straitjacket? Meanwhile, everybody is emotionally out of balance today. Come on, you are. Unless you totally love, honor, respect yourself, you're out of balance. That's it. That which created you was total love. And let me ask you something. When I talk to people that come here, they usually are adults and they have children, thank God. Then I can at least compare something. And I'll say to them, well, what would you like? Would you like your child to only love themselves 50% and get the rest of their love from the world? Oh, no, 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 no. Then why do you do it? Okay, so anyways, let's get back to this physical issue in the tissues. So we need to go in there. And if you could go into all the joints like the ankle, the knee, the hip, the wrist, and even the joints in your fingers. And I'm going to teach you how to do most of this stuff. I'm going to be doing another masterclass called one-shot bottle therapy that you'll be able to do certain parts of your body, not all of them. But we're going to give you as much help as we can, okay? The problem is that most people out there are so programmed in denying themselves the love that they deserve and the care they deserve. All right. So anyways, I hope I answered your question. You know, you can also use DMSO in the area. That's going to help. You can also use essential oils. I would get our Rose DMSO, and essential oils, I'd be using our Pain Away. That's the best one for this. But when you're dealing with a scar tissue problem, you got to put the DMSO on 3 times a day. You got to put the essential oil on maybe every half hour to every hour for a few days to really make a difference. And it's not about the pain. It's about bringing up the vibration. Everything is about vibration, everybody. So I need you to really understand that, okay? Okay, let's take a look here. We've got another question here. Kayla from Facebook. Let me see. I've got it. Wow, there's a lot of questions coming in here. I'll do these first. Iris from Facebook, what can I do other than tapping and breathing when I have panic attacks? I'll tell you what you should do, and you're gonna think it's crazy. Go have a cold shower. Start off with your feet and then work your way up. But a cold shower will take you out of the program, because you have to understand something. You have a panic attack program. I promise you that I will never have another panic attack in my life. And the reason why is because I've practiced at not having them. Okay? And understand something. When I first started really getting into loving Darrell, okay, and you know what? For some people, that's like really creepy when they hear that. Oh my God, he's going to love himself? What kind of sicko is that? And you got to think about how sick your mind is to call me that, or to even think like that, right? Think about it. And I know there's a certain little twinge in there right now that's going, what? Are you kidding me? Well, anyways, when I started getting into this, loving myself, respecting myself, honoring myself, and I didn't dishonor my family or anyone else. Guess what? When I started truly loving myself, I stopped dishonoring the world. Isn't that something? Wow, go figure. Who would have ever thought, eh? Whoever thought that by totally honoring and respecting yourself, that you would actually respect the world? Who would have thought? Anyways, so I really don't like how the phone won't hold, and every time you got to go back in. Okay, so when I started doing it, okay, and really started doing that, it really upset my family. So let's go back to this. Panic attacks. So I would have a cold shower. Yeah. And understand something. As far as the tapping, no, don't do tapping. I would do a cold shower, connect to your breath. I would do the belly button therapy, all of these things, because you're just putting yourself back into a sympathetic state, which is fight, fright, and flight, which is creating more acidity, which causes more inflammation, which causes more drugs, which causes more surgery, which causes more running to the hospital. Hey, do you want to know something? Do you know how many people run to the hospital because they're having a panic attack, because they forgot that their body heals itself and all they have to do is calm down? All right. Misty from Facebook, please comment on what you know about systemic sclerosis. Thank you. I don't believe it's systemic. Oh, systemic. No, okay, right. Not genetic. So systemic sclerosis. Yeah. Okay. So everybody out there, sclerosis is, oh my gosh, isn't this something, eh? I'm going to show you something, that almost every issue in the tissue is scar tissue. All right. And the systemic sclerosis is when the body is creating too much acidity and you're just bloody well on fire. So whoever this person is, Misty, I'm going to tell you something. So you must know Iris, because Iris is having panic attacks, and Misty, so are you. So you are very fearful. You have anxiety a lot. And when you have anxiety a lot, you continually drip adrenaline and cortisol into your bloodstream. That's right. And when you do that, that acidity is pulling on calcium and everything else. But remember something. The more, what did I just say earlier? The more acidic you are, that means the more inflamed you are, which means the more scar tissue you have to make. And so what she's talking about, systemic sclerosis. You have systemic sclerosis because you have a systemic problem. Now, here's what happens. Did you ever were you ever like running and then all of a sudden you started to run down a hill? Did you ever run down a hill and you knew that you couldn't stop running and that you would probably fall? Well, what happened was the anxiety, the diet, okay, all right, created so much inflammation. What do you think? What is an autoimmune disease? An autoimmune disease is where the body is attacking itself. Oh, wait a second. No, it's where you're attacking yourself. Oh, there you go. That's what it is. So systemic sclerosis is actually where your body is now attacking itself because you are so inflamed, it is out there to scar tissue, everything to shut this inflammation down. So we would have to take a look at the perfect day diet. We'd have to, to get you on a non-inflammatory diet. We'd have to make sure your bowels are cleaning. We have to clean out your liver. We would have to make sure you're on structured water. And we would also have to really program into you the 12 loving steps, Braveheart steps, and get you to do the mirror work, get you to do the love band. That's the old me. I got this. I love myself. All right? Okay, all the scar tissue is melting in my body. I got this. All right? And then I would find a really good Wolfe non-surgical therapist and go there every week and start taking all this beef jerky apart. Because let me tell you something. The more physical blocks you have of scar tissue crystallization and calcium, displaced calcium throughout the body, the slower the blood flow, the harder the heart has to pump, the more stressed you are until you run this vicious circle. Until you start removing physical blocks so that you can get back in, because flow is everything, isn't it? How do you flow? Get into the flow. How does your blood flow? How does your mind flow? I go with the flow. So think about that, all right? So I hope I answered it for you, but the reality is unless you're willing to create the perfect day on this planet, you are going to live in pain. So unless you want to take a look at your life from the minute you wake up until you go to bed and how you can master the mind and the body, then understand something. This is not going to be a party, okay? Like I say before, this is a life-threatening, fun-filled adventure, okay? But only if you know the rules and understand something. Again, 92% of the population, okay, all right, are attacking themselves on an emotional level first, or else they would never be attacking themselves on a physical level, because you are the master of your body. And we know 92% of the population has an autoimmune disease. All right. Kayla from Facebook asked, my husband has okay. All right. So he has a knee problem derived from an injury a few years ago that grew from the injured cartilage. How would you heal this? My husband decided to stay away from surgery. Oh my gosh. You know what? Give me a call and I will tell you something. Give me 1 hour with that knee, and how about I reverse it enough that he realizes that it was only the scar tissue. You know what? How do we go in there and reverse the scar tissue? So the bigger the scar tissue lump is from this, okay, understand. Surgery causes more scar tissue than anything else that you can do on this planet. I hope you get this. So now, if you go and get surgery, you're going to get a big lump of scar tissue in there. And what did I tell you? I told you that in any healing process, you need to go in there, like no matter if you had a football injury, a car accident, or a wear and tear problem that you feel like you've got bursitis, it doesn't matter. You need to go and do Wolfe non-surgical, and people are going to go, oh yeah, this guy likes to promote himself so much. Well, guess what? If I'm promoting myself and offering a money-back guarantee that I'm going to reverse this, and I don't reverse it, then I'm only promoting to help you get well. So I need you to get that really clear. And as far as me and my finances go, trust me, there's not a financial problem here. I'll tell you what there is a problem, is getting people to buy in that they can actually turn this around that easy. So if I go in there with my elbow and I do our technique and I pull it apart, and I will go and do the front, the sides, the back, I will prove to him within 45 minutes to an hour that we can reverse this. Now, the thing is this. If everybody was doing it, everybody would embrace it, but not everybody's doing it. And people wait until they get in such bad condition to come to us. You know, they don't have enough money, they don't have enough time, but then they have enough time and enough money when they don't think that they have enough time left in their life. So that's how I reverse it. And that truly is the only way to reverse it. But I would also teach him how to do the clapping, patting on it, use the essential oils, use the DMSO on it. If he's a beer drinker, good luck with that. Beer really, really disturbs the knees, and it really does. And if he's doing fermented things, if his bowels aren't moving properly, then we know there's going to be pressure down in his lower pelvis. And understand something. if it's, let's say, he's constipated and it's his left leg, it's going to cause him extra trouble cutting off the circulation down to the leg. And if he's constipated because of the cecum area, that gets blocked up, and that will have trouble in the right leg. All right. Oh boy. Let me see here. Deborah from Facebook. So, but you know what? Go get your husband to join the A to Z Wellness Masterclass. It's free right now until the end of the day, probably. We'll probably be done by the end of the day. Who knows? You know, people usually don't jump on something until it's gone, until everybody says it's great. But once you do go to the A to Z Wellness Masterclass, go in there and take a look at the knee video. I show you what we do, and I tell you what the medical's going to do, and then you'll understand it, okay? We show how to do everywhere in the body what's going on. Deborah from Facebook asks, I have osteoarthritis in both knees and hands. My doctor said right knee is bone on bone, so he suggested a complete replacement with my, it's scary. I would love to hear what you think would be a better alternative. All right. Well, let's put it this way. If I've got a master trainer in your area that could work on you, great. If not, you could come here for personal treatment and training. Look, I'm going to tell you something. So would you spend a few $1,000s if we could come to your home and teach you and your family how to do this technique, and that you could become your own practitioners and you would never have to have a muscle or joint problem again. And when you did, you could actually heal it so it's totally healed properly. Or would you like to come and stay in our condo and come here for a week and we will teach you that? I don't know what else to say to you. When you go to it for a treatment, you're good until the next treatment, right? Well, this whole body of mine is made out of muscles, ligaments, tendons, yes or no? And how many joints do I have? So all the crystallization and calcium that's caught in those joints and all the scar tissue that gets wrapped around those joints and wrapped around my organs, wrapped around my muscles, would you like to know how to turn that back into beautiful connective tissue like when you were younger? Well, that's the deal, and it truly is. That's the deal right there. I don't know what else I can say. That's what we offer. You can go and get a treatment from someone and then realize that, and the bone on bone thing. Okay. So I want you to get this. Again, people come here with bone on bone supposedly. And if okay, I'll tell you what, somebody out there that's got bone on bone, I want you to come here and, I will do one treatment on you. I will be in, let me think. I'll be in Orlando in March. Palm Springs, I'll be doing a course there in June. I'll be in Toronto in May. And you know what? I'd love to do a video on somebody bone on bone that's ready for surgery, and I'll do one treatment on them. And I did a treatment on a gentleman. He's bone on bone with his hip. And he's a chiropractor, and this is a true story. I just did that a couple months ago, bone on bone, and you should have saw him walking. And this is how he would walk, and he's a chiro. This is what happens to us, right? You know, health professionals, we don't even know what to do for ourselves. I got in there, and what he had was a big scar tissue band all around the hip, and I went in there, and I loosened all that and pulled all that apart, right into the fossa, went into the ball joint, clean that out. Okay, he not only did not walk without a limp, he actually bent down, okay, like he squatted, and he came back up and he says, I haven't done that in 15 years. And you know what? He's probably watching right now because we're supposed to go down there and certify his clinic. All right? All right, so that's what we do too. We go in and when we'll go in and actually certify a clinic. We'll go in and teach them everything that we do. All right. Stephen from, did I answer that question? Let me think here. It's bone on bone. Well, I got to tell you something. The body heals itself, and I have not seen anybody that came to us that stuck with the program in the last at least 7-8 years, because I can't remember the last time that a bone-on-bone had to have surgery. So it's the craziest thing. Now I'm going to explain something to you, and I would love someone to challenge me, that like a surgeon or someone in the business like this. You know what? They're not lying when they say bone on bone, because it actually looks like bone on bone. Because what happens is around every joint, when the tissue starts to become really inflamed, here's what happens. And the cartilage gets really inflamed. The body will actually pull calcium from the closest area, from that bone area, and it puts the calcium into the tissue to actually stop the inflammation from spreading, buffer down the acidity, okay? And so what they're looking at on an x-ray is actually the tissue still there, but it's beef jerky, and it's calcified, and it's crystallized. And I will take that to the bank any day, all right? And if somebody comes to me and they give it their best, okay, and we do this work, your body's amazing. I think you forgot who created your body. You know, the medical system has forgot that the body heals itself. I mean, that's not obvious. As soon as you feel pain, you run for an aspirin. You run for an anti-inflammatory. You run to suppress the pain. Meanwhile, pain is your GPS. Pain is the most beautiful thing that you will ever have. That is your guiding light for your physical body and for your emotional body. So understand something. Every time you tell pain to shut up, that's like you're in a relationship and you slap your partner. Okay? So when you have pain, you got to ask yourself, where am I out of balance? How can I become more aligned? Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, it could have been the alcohol. Could have been the donuts. It could have been me screaming at my kids all the time. Stephen from YouTube. Hi, Doc. It's great to see you. I'm just overcoming the flu and drinking your cleansing tea. That's great, buddy, but guess what? I will never get the cold or the flu. Did you hear what I just said? And he's just getting over the flu. That's because he's just getting over Christmas and Thanksgiving. You know how many people are going to have the cold and the flu in about 2 weeks, and they're going to be ramming the flu shot in everyone? Oh, this is when they get everyone. See, they get you to disrespect yourself, dishonor yourself, drink yourself to death, okay? Eat all kinds of shortbread cookies, overeat that you feel exhausted, and then also you're doing way too much, running around way too much, trying to show everyone that you love them, because that's what we do. We pack that into this time of the year. Run ourselves down, and because we run ourselves down, the bugs and the viruses that are everywhere anyways. I mean, every virus and every bug that's going around and every cold and every flu, I take it in. But I'm not going to get sick because I've got an immune system. And it's like, get out of here. And then with other people who have run themselves down, okay, and become acidic and have inflammation, the viral and the bacterial go in there and they go, oh, honey, I'm home. And they take you down. And then you blame it on Martha at the office because you never liked her because she sneezed. Give me a break. Okay. All right. Yellow Rose from YouTube. How to heal chronically inflamed gut if raw foods don't seem to help. Well, no, if you've got an inflamed stomach, you don't eat raw foods. You go on like carrot juice. You go on it Fulvic. You go on Humic. You go on Tummy Love. You make sure you go on the daily cleansing tea to cleanse out the bowels. You do coffee enemas, and you learn to connect to your breath. You know what? If you've got a really inflamed intestine and you go and eat fresh and raw foods, the fiber in there is like a scrub brush. It's going to irritate. If you didn't have inflammation, you want that scrub brush. If you've got inflammation and you go on a fresh and raw diet, you're going to inflame it. I mean, I would tell you to have like vegetable soup. I would tell you to have vegetable broth. I would tell you to do blender drinks with berries and almond milk and maybe 1 or 2 raw eggs to keep your energy up. I'd put black gold in there as well, maybe some diatomaceous earth, because if you've got an inflamed intestine, you've got parasites. So understand that any tissue that is inflamed has low integrity, it will have viral, bacterial, fungal, and worms. So understand that. So that's like when people say, oh my God, I'm doing parasite cleanses all the time. I just can't seem to get rid of them. Well, that's because you're not a manure pile. But if you looked in a manure pile, when's the last time you didn't see worms and fungus and bad bacteria in a manure pile? Like, yeah, okay. So understand something. When you start to become sluggish and you back up in your bowel, because that's the holy grail of your immune system, your bacteria go from good to bad. Otherwise, they go from happy to mad. So when they get mad, they become what we call endobacterium, which gives off this toxic gas that really causes bad digestive disorders, inflammation, and then you break the connection from your gut to your brain, and then you can see all kinds of things start to go wrong. Okay, so understand something. With an inflamed tummy, like I said, stay away from the fresh and raw, and you could do leafy vegetables, not so bad, but definitely broccoli, cauliflower, carrots. They could really tear you apart, okay, because you're already inflamed. And if you're not inflamed, then we want all the fiber we can get, okay? All right. Let me just make sure I'm caught up. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we're going to go back to some of the questions that were sent in to us. Kimberley Anderson, my hernia is near my belly button, so it's the same as pelvic. Okay, I'm not really sure what she was talking about. But if the hernia is near the belly button, then we know that you've been backing up with waste, okay, in your large intestine, and way back, maybe even into your transverse colon. I would suggest that you get the belly button therapy kit and start using that really gently. And also, you know, the only way that I believe that you can heal a hernia is to go on first a juice fast and then go into what we call our advanced water fast, because you have to take the digestive tract and the rest of the body and put it on holiday. Do you know how much energy it takes? 3 meals a day is as much energy as you would expend in a 10-mile walk. I'm telling you, this is the truth. A 10-mile walk. So if we take away, and other things, guess what, guys? We're so brainwashed. We actually think we have to eat to be healthy. Go figure. And we actually think we have to eat a lot to be healthy. Go figure. The more you eat, the less healthier you're going to be. Okay? It's what you eat and how well it absorbs into your cells. That's the ticket. So I don't eat a lot, okay? And I have about 1 meal a day, but I'll do a blender drink a day. I'll do a quart of carrot juice a day, and I'll do about 4 quarts of water with fulvic maybe, and I'll do ATP, and I'll put some essential oils in. But that's basically my life. That's what I like to do, because I don't live to eat. I eat to live. And the other thing is that the more spirited you become, because I don't really want to say spiritually aware or awake, because people get really creeped out from that, you know, like we're all going to run around with bare feet and smoke pot or something. But the reality is that we have a spirit. And the more that you honor that spirit and you rise that spirit, you feed that spirit, the less you need to feed the physical body. Okay? And I'm not telling you that I'm trying to get to a point where I don't feed at all, because I came down here to this planet to enjoy eating. And we came down here to experience eating, just like we came down here to experience emotions. But the problem is that people have not mastered their emotions. There you go. So with the hernia, if you want to heal a hernia, you have to go into the perfect day diet. And you can start off with intermittent fasting. But the goal would be to do vegetable juice fasting and then to do the advanced water fasting. And that's the key, or you're just going to struggle. You know what? People will ask me questions and they don't like the answer, because we are habitual creatures and we don't want to change our habits. So if you don't want to change your habits, means you're not going to change your personality, which means you're not going to change your reality, which is you're not going to change your disease. The diseases that you have are because of the beliefs that you have, and they're the prominent beliefs. So your prominent beliefs create the diseases you have or the health that you have. So if you're not going to change your beliefs, that means you're not going to change your personality. You're not going to change your reality. So why even get started? There you go. Okay? Okay. Next. Are all the 1,000 spots gone for the A to Z Masterclass? Would love to fix a few health issues and help some of my family members. Antoinette, no, there's 200 left, and we made a mistake because even though like the onboarding asked for your Visa MasterCard, so people thought we were trying to con them, and we weren't. So no, we've got I know we have probably close to 900 now. We had 200 spots a little while ago today, so there it is. So just go to Doc of Detox, click on Masterclass, sign in, and there you go. Enjoy. Maria, hi Maria. Awesome, Dr. Wolfe. We'll love to meet you next coming year. Thank you. Angela Shelley, you look great. Okay, all right. Skin's glowing. Great. Thank you. Love the blue pendant. Just want to know about. Oh, that's the blue pendant. This helps to protect. Okay. It's the funniest thing. I have to say this. Does everybody realize that there's frequency in everything? There's frequency in a rock. There's frequency in fruit and vegetables. There's frequency in us. There's frequency in everything on this planet. Everything has a frequency. So anyways, when we first brought this out, and it's even now, we still have people telling us that we're into some kind of voodoo, okay? And we're into some kind of thing that's really weird. Anyways, understand something. This is a crystal, and it has had frequencies put in it. It's called radionics, which is actually a science, if people would like to look it up. It's a really terrible thing that light, frequency, energy, spirit are all bad words. And it really limits you to the potential that you could have on this planet. All right, next. Germana. Okay, we did that one. Rebecca, how do you get to the book Perfect Day Diet in your library? Okay. All you do is just go to the Doc of Detox, go to the top of the page, click on library, then you click on, there's a whole bunch of guides in there, click on the Perfect Day Guide. You can watch the videos right in there. When that opens up, you'll find the video right underneath where you'll see a video of me talking about it, and then the video of the Perfect Day is underneath it there, and you can read the guide over here, or you can download the audio. So you can read the guide, watch the video, or download the audio. And we've got probably about 15 different guidebooks there. And these guidebooks are all about empowerment. And for those of you who really want to empower yourself, go to the Perfect Day, go to page 37, read about 20 pages, and tell me what you think. Okay, Laura, I'm looking for info on diverticulitis. Okay. Now, diverticulitis is not a disease like everything else. Okay? There really is no diseases. They're all symptoms. But diverticulitis is where you have been constipated for so long, your bowel has these pockets, okay? And these pockets are like this. They're called haustras. And they're used because they contract like a snake to move the fecal waste out of your body. Now, in those haustras, people who do not do enough fruit, vegetables, enough structured water, they do too much bread, they do too much cheese, they don't combine their food properly, they don't exercise enough. These are just some of the things. The waste will actually get caught on the inside of the lining of the bowel, and then what happens is that when things don't move along, what do? They stagnate. Okay, so if I had a lake and it didn't have water running in and out, and so the water didn't run anymore, what would it become? It'd become a swamp. Okay, so then what comes with a swamp? Bugs, mosquitoes. Okay, so now if I've got poop stuck to the inner lining of my bowel inside, what'll happen is it putrefies. As it rots, okay, bad bacteria created. The bad bacteria create gases, and that starts to eat away at the lining of your bowel inside. So what happens underneath here? Well, let's talk about it. So now the lining is starting to thin out, and there's a little bit of hole being created because it's being eaten away by the poop. And that poop goes into the little hole. Oh, look it. And then that poop is stuck in here, and it's making more bad bacteria that are gassing off. Even bacteria fart. Okay? And then it's creating more acidity, and the hole's bigger. Okay, so now the hole's getting bigger. The hole's getting bigger. But the body keeps on creating tissue around the poop. Okay, scar tissue. Why? So because you don't need to blow out and have poop come out through your large intestine. You could die of septicemia. You do not want to just have small poop pellets going into your bloodstream. That's a no-no. Okay, but now we've got scar tissue wrapped around this dry fecal matter. So now we had the bowel, but now it's sticking out like this, okay? You got a little bit, and it's sticking out. Like, did you ever see like a tire? I remember we used to have tires, and they would bulge, and they'd have like a big bulge. Well, that's what you have. A diverticuli is called a bulge, and it's a bulge sticking out. And it's got scar tissue here because it's trying to stop. It's continually being made because if the poop ever got through, like I said, you'd be in trouble. So now what is diverticulitis? Well, diverticulitis just means that you have inflammation of the diverticuli. Are you ready for this? So you ready for this? 80% of the population over the age of 40 has diverticulosis. Oh, but they don't know until they have diverticulitis, because when you have inflammation and you're in pain, you go for an x-ray and they go, oh, you've got diverticulitis. So now they're going to try to put you on some kind of drugs, maybe even cortisone or something like that to try to numb out the pain. Whereas all it was is because you were bloody well constipated. You weren't having a good poop every day. That same person would sit down on the bathroom and go, you know what? And let's say she was sitting on the bathroom. Somebody says, honey, are you coming? Yeah, I'll be there in a minute. Just hold on. Okay, so I have staff that work for me, even though I'm the doc of detox, and they'll go into the bathroom. And actually, I have one of them sitting right here, and he's one of my video guys. And I will be waiting for him because we got to do something, and he'll be in there for 10 minutes. I mean, this is what an average person is. I mean, he's going to have diverticulitis too, and then he's going to come, but he won't come to me until he's really in pain. Right, Jan?
No, I'm using the belly button therapy right now.
Oh, you need more than that, my friend. Okay, so she's going, just think about it. How many times, Jan, have you gone to the bathroom, okay, and it just all didn't feel like it came out?
Every time.
Okay, I know that. And the problem is I see that, and that's why he's got pain in his joints. He's got scar tissue problems. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
Okay, so understand something. But Jan, he is such a highly intelligent person, such a beautiful person, but because he was raised like this, and everybody hangs around is like this, it's normal. So it's normal to be constipated, okay? As my grandmother said, you know what? He's not grumpy. He's just constipated. So you have to understand something. Think about it. So for the last 30 years, I felt like there was just a little bit more that could come out. Well, let's pile that up. I think we've got a manure pile going on here, guys. And, that is rotting inside of you. And that's why you're stinking rotten. That's why your underpit smell, your groin might smell. You might have vaginitis. Yeah, see, there you go. And I'll tell you, Jan's pits smell. Okay, let me tell you. Okay, so here's the deal. You should never have smelly pits. Do you understand that? Okay? And I'm not saying never, but you should not on a continual basis. And your groin shouldn't smell, and when your breath smells, it's because that's how rotten you are. And people who have bad breath, when you put them on a cleanse, oh my gosh, we want to make sure that they're drinking water that has essential oils in it, because they could peel wallpaper. Trust me. Okay? All right. That's why, the beauty industry works so well. Perfumes and, don't you just love that Febreze? I mean, that is a carcinogenic chemical that people are breathing in. Isn't that something? And people are doing it all the time because everything stinks. All right. Is there a practitioner in the Hamilton area? Deb, please call me. There's one in Toronto, and his name is Ace. Okay? Kimberley Anderson, how do you help a hernia? Well, I just told you. You can help a hernia by stop overeating, get on a vegetable juice fast. If you want to call, I'll help you out with that. And then you go on advanced water fasting. But here's the deal. All right, people that have hernias didn't get them except for 2 reasons. They overate, they ate the wrong foods, they became inflamed, all right, and they became constipated, and the actual fecal material in the body leaked through the bowel and actually blew out the lining. There you go. Isn't that great? And you know what? I'll tell you something. Now, somebody's going to say, that's not true. Yes, it is 99% of the time. But whatever I say here, it's not always 100%, because there's always other factors, and I don't have them all. When I'm on this Q&A, I'm giving you the best of what I know in 40 years. That's it. That's all I can do. Mick, where can someone see Dr. Wolfe? Right here. You can see me. There you go. I don't know what. See me. I'll be in, like I said, I'll be in Toronto in May, Orlando in March, and Palm Springs in June. And I've been really just trying to, I'm here all the time if you want to check me out here. Oh, and I'm doing a lecture with David Wolfe, David Avocado Wolfe. I'm doing a big lecture here February is it the 26th? 25th, 7th, 27th. I'm doing a lecture on the 27th of February here in Kelowna with David Avocado Wolfe. So you can catch me there if you want. Jerry, what's your WhatsApp number? My WhatsApp number is 250-801-0133. And that's for anybody around the world. If you've got questions, call me, text me, okay? And if you text me, you don't hear from me, call me, okay? Sometimes I get a little busy. Karen, have you ever heard of AquaLive? They say it, one second. They say it filters. They say it filters and structures the water. No, I haven't. I haven't heard of it, but I'll check it out. Thank you, Karen. How do you get rid of bacterial problems? Okay, could you do a video on that? Well, okay. No matter what the problem is, what the bacterial problem is, okay, it's all about environment, and I talk about that a lot in the guides in the library. So everything is about environment. Understand something. Louis Pasteur said that the bug is nothing, the terrain is everything. And you need to understand that. The bug is nothing, the terrain is everything. Every bug in the world, every virus in the world, I'm breathing it in, but it's not going to overtake me. This whole thing about, there's a new bug, a new virus going around, all right? You need to get your shot. I mean, whatever happened to all the millions of years that we've been around? I mean, how do we even survive without vaccinations? And I will have Del Bigtree on my show talking about vaccinations. That's coming up in about a week and a half. All right, Elite. I have this thing called neurofibromatosis. Can you give me a definition? Well, neurofibromatosis, they state that it's a genetic disorder that causes tumors to form on nerve tissue. These tumors can develop anywhere in the nervous system, including your brain, spinal cord, or nerves. And guess what? I do not believe it's genetic. I do not believe it's genetic. And I will tell you something right now. I do not believe it's genetic. There was a thing called the Genome Project where they tried to prove that all disease was genetic, and it was a big flop. That's why you never heard about it. They didn't want to talk about it, let anybody know that genetics have nothing to do with it. Okay, it's called epigenetics. It's what you think, it's what you drink, it's what you eat, and it's how you treat yourself, not mistreat yourself. And understand something. My mother died of lung cancer. My father had 3 heart surgeries and died of leukemia. Now, whether you believe this or not, with both of my parents, we were able to get rid of her. First, it was tongue cancer. We got rid of the tongue cancer. Go figure. And then it came back because she went back to McDonald's cigarettes and 5-Star Rye. And the tongue cancer came back, and then it went into the lung. Okay, and she got tongue cancer because of the cigarette smoking. She smoked 2.5 packs a day of menthol cigarettes. Okay, so then my father, he died of leukemia. Now, I know you might think this is crazy, but he came to me twice. We got rid of the leukemia twice. And I won't get into the story about my father, but he did everything to have the leukemia come back. All right, now, why am I telling you this? Well, I'm telling you that, guess what? When I was younger, and even when I was younger and a practitioner, I mean, remember, my parents got cancer when I was still in my 20s. And I had a clinic in Toronto. And at that time, I just went, holy crap, there's no hope for me. You know, my mom died of tongue cancer and lung cancer, and my father died of leukemia. I'm going to die of cancer. Well, today, I know I'll never die of cancer. Now, back then, I know I would have died of cancer because thought form creates physical form, and your thoughts are everything. And that's the bottom line. I've gotten to the point in my life when somebody says, prove it to me, prove the research. I'll tell you, I am the research. 40 years is the research. So, people can take it or leave it. When it rains, you get wet. Okay? And my information that I give is so logical. And if you want to do your homework and go into the science books, you'll see science backs it up. Okay? All right. So as far as this goes here, so we know that there is a program being run. Every time somebody has an illness or a disease, there's a program running it. Every time somebody looks well and healthy, there's somebody running it. There's a program running it. Sorry. Now, with the neurofibromatosis, understand something. If you believe you're going to get something, it's a belief. Okay, but then it becomes a program, and then it becomes a prominent thought in the subconscious, and then after a while, then it becomes a prominent thought in 50 trillion cells. So you have your subconscious, that holds your prominent thoughts, but then every cell in your body, if the thought's been going long enough and strong enough, it will pick the program up, and it will grow the neurofibromatosis or these tumors without your help, without you even thinking about it. So you've got to change the program. And that's my belief. And yes, you can, of course, you're going to detox. Of course, you're going to eat right. Of course, I would have somebody doing vegetable juice fasting and then going into the advanced water fasting, because you can do advanced water fasting. It's a breeze by using ATP plus, by using fulvic, by using Ormus minerals, by doing coffee enemas, and using the black gold in the coffee enemas along with tummy love. I mean, you can really rock that show. And even on an advanced water fast, you could use super cinnamon essential oil, and you could use lemon lift, and you could use orange burst. And remember something, I can use all these products because they're high energy medicine products that do not turn on the Krebs cycle. And if I don't turn on the Krebs cycle and I bypass the Krebs cycle, if I bypass the Krebs cycle and I don't turn the Krebs cycle on, I don't turn on my digestive tract, which means I can do a water fast and get 10 times the results instead of just doing water, which is grueling and it's so painful. All right. Yellow Rose, how to heal from heal colon from years of inflammation, diverticulitis. Also, no digestive enzymes in system. We've already talked about this one. It's a repeat. Thank you. Margie, tell me how to get started on protocol. Well, the first thing you want to do if you want to start on a protocol is go to my library and go to page 37, read the Perfect Day Guide, check that out. Then also take a look at the Ultimate Coffee Enema in the Perfect Day Guide. Then go to Fasting for Perfect Health and check that out and check out what fasting's all about. And then also go read I Am Woman. Every woman should read I Am Woman. And yes, you should. Then you'll understand, believe it or not, what happened to women, how your power was taken, and how you're being manipulated, and what you need to do to get it back. Okay, Dr. Wolfe, can you explain your certifications, what we learn, where your courses are? Okay, I'll make it short. This is Jennifer. Thank you, Jennifer. Our courses are here in Kelowna. They're in Orlando. They're also done in Texas. That we do them in Australia. We also do our courses in Palm Springs, California. And if you go to itioh.com, it'll tell you when the courses are coming up. The next one is here in Kelowna, and that is in April. Okay? And the courses, well, we have what's called Whole Life Coach Certification, where we teach you all about how to create the perfect day on an emotional, nutritional, and detox level for all your patients, clients, or just your family. 50% of the people that come, they come to that to learn just for themselves, to get the holy grail of healing. And then the other 50% are people that want to become practitioners, or they already are practitioners. And that's the same thing with our Wolfe Deep Tissue, which is 7 days. The Whole Life Coach Certification is 7 days. And then the non-surgical is 4 days. And you can come to just the Wolfe Deep Tissue and the non-surgical if you just want the body part. Or you can just come to the Whole Life Coach if you just want the emotional, nutritional detox and how to do that, all the tricks that we do and treatments. And or you can come for the whole thing. All right? But you'll see it all on itioh.com. I have a friend, Juliana, I have a friend who has been infected with hepatitis B and has not been able to sleep for 7 days. What could help? Thank you. Well, first of all, being infected with that, the mind controls the sleep. But I will tell you, she can add magnesium to her diet. That's going to help. She should be doing the belly button therapy, right? Okay. Belly button therapy is amazing to help you sleep. If she can afford it, tell her to get an Avacen, AVACEN. You'll see that on my website at the Doc of Detox store. But if you go into the library and you click on Energy Medicine Guide, take a look at the video on Avacen, because that'll put her to sleep. That'll put you into a parasympathetic state. And that energy medicine device will increase the actual microcirculation and oxygen in the body 100% more than any other device we know that is known. It'll outshoot a hyperbaric chamber. It'll outshoot a PEMF mat. So understand that. This is, and all you got to do is put your hand into it, and 3 out of 4 people fall asleep because it puts you into a healing state. Okay? Hi, Doc. What else can she do to sleep? Well, make sure that she's not stressing out all day and that she's drinking enough water, because most people, their nervous system is burning up, so they can't sleep. They're exhausted, tired, but, their mind is still running. And that's because they're running fear programs. And understand something. I'm not, hepatitis B, it's not so bad. And the other thing is guess what? I don't care. Hepatitis B cannot live in the body if you bring the vibration up, you bring the health up. And if it does live there, it can't cause you any trouble because you will have built an antigen against it. But you've got to really bring the game on. You've got to take massive, personal, loving action and learn how to create the perfect day and start saying no to things that are bringing your vibration down, your acidity levels up. Okay? Hi, Doc. I'm Mickael, and I'm 13 years old. I want to know if I can use your essential oil called Immunity to protect myself. Absolutely. And you can put it right on your throat, okay? And you can also put it anywhere else you want. But you know what? Have your mother just take a little bit and rub it on your wrist and just see. But I got to tell you, our blends are pure. And the way that they're processed, we have been making our own oils for 35 years. That's right. And I still have the same alchemist. And I will tell you right now that if you check our oils out, they are the best price and the best oils. And I'll give a money back guarantee on that. Okay? All right? And it doesn't get any better. But check them out. They're on our website. Gale, my 55-year-old daughter, had an appendix operation 2 months ago. She went from chronic constipation before surgery to now having constant diarrhea. Suggestions. Oh my gosh, this always happens, okay? And she's having a blowout. Okay, so her digestive tract is in crisis, especially her large intestine. So what happened was, it could have been the drugs. The drugs totally knocked out the good bacteria and knocked out the slippery coating of mucus within her large intestine. And that's what happened first. She didn't get diarrhea first. So what happened was she probably was constipated before the surgery, because everybody's constipated almost, and they don't know it. Constipation does not mean you don't go to the washroom. Constipation means, which Jan could tell you, that everything doesn't come out. Okay, so what happened was, if you wouldn't mind, Gale, go and read in my library the guide called The Domino Effect of Unhealthy Living. And you're going to find in there that what happens is, first we get constipated, we absorb the waste, we overburden the liver, then we overburden the kidneys, we're overburden the lymph system, we get bladder infections, okay? The whole body's in a crisis. So what happens is the body actually, it's a safety mechanism. It actually takes water from everywhere in the body, flushes it down into the bowel to give you diarrhea, because if it didn't, you would get bowel cancer, uterine cancer. You could even have a heart attack or a stroke. So it's got to reduce the inflammation. It's got to reduce the waste. So my 55-year-old daughter had an appendix operation 2 months ago. So when she had the appendix operation, understand, they took the appendix out. The appendix actually helps to make the lymphocytes and the white blood cells to fight the infection in the large intestine. The appendix is a little tail that sits on the cecum. It's a little tail, sits in the cecum. So what you got is you got 22 feet of small intestine. And then it comes to the ileocecal valve. And then from the ileocecal valve, it goes into a pouch called the cecum, your waste. Here is the appendix that creates infection fighters that come up into the bowel, that go up into the ascending colon, cross the transverse, down the descending, in your sigmoid. And so those infection fighters are traveling with you to make sure that when you're making this poop and all this waste, that you're not, it's not going to destroy the large intestine. How cool is that? And it's not going to destroy the mucus lining inside the large intestine. So when they took her appendix out, oh my gosh. So when they took her appendix out, now she's going to have a big ball of scar tissue in there. That scar tissue can actually get in and cause a big ball of scar tissue in the cecum. It can actually work its way and keep the ileocecal valve open so that the bacteria and the worms can get back through the valve and into her small intestine. And then we call that SIBO. Now, when she got the operation, it totally put the bowel, because the bowel's alive, guys. Every cell, 50 trillion cells in your body have consciousness. Did you know that every cell in the human body actually has a digestive tract, a brain, a lymph system? Okay, it has everything that your body has, every cell has. But now, when they did the surgery, because, taking a knife to someone is not the coolest thing. But the reality is it put that part of the body in trauma. And when something goes into trauma, it goes into shock. Somebody who goes into shock, they shut right down. Holy crap. No crap. So now the bowel shut down. So now we've got beyond Thunderdome constipation. It's in a coma. So now the rest of the body goes, oh my God, putrefaction, rotting. We can't have this. There's infection. She's in big trouble. Okay, stat. Take as much water as you can, flood it down to the bowel, and give her diarrhea. The diarrhea will continue until the infection stops. Get your daughter to get black gold. Get her to get tummy love. And if you want, have your daughter call me, because I will spend 15 minutes on the phone and I will turn her life around. Oh, not me. She will do it. But the information I'm going to give her will turn her life around. And if this diarrhea keeps going, because if you're 55 years old, that means your daughter would be, no, your daughter's 55 years old. Okay. If she's 55 years old, we already know that she hasn't been looking after herself, or she wouldn't have to get her appendix cut out. Okay. If that diarrhea keeps going, her electrolytes will be gone. Her nutrients will be gone. She will be exhausted. And that means that she will be open prey to all predators, fungus, viral, bacterial, parasites. They'll have a parasite party. Okay. So have her call me. But do me a favor and have her call me on Monday. Okay. And I promise I'll deal with it. Karen, Nottingham. We are contemplating a water filtration system to remove nitrates plus other contaminants and also structure the water. That's it. So, get a good filtration system, but make sure you're structuring the water, because if you're not hydrating. That's the end of the story. Listen to me. Kangen water systems are not structure units, but they're great water units, okay, for antioxidants and for adjusting the pH. And don't be going wild on alkalining the water either. You're going to damage yourself. People say, I drink 10 pH. Well, you better watch out, okay? All right, because in nature, you'll find structured water around 7-8 pH. So, I don't think, I'll trust nature before man any day. Do you have any knowledge of the Acrolive? No, I do not. Next. Lawrence. Okay. My left testicle is in pain, and I have veins popping out of my left testicle, and it has only happened lately. Okay. All right. I can help you with that. Okay. So, with the testicle itself, okay. All right. You could put like lavender on the testicle area, and that will help with the circulation. But understand something. Here's the deal. 9 times out of 10, when this happens, okay, that person, okay, remember what I was talking about, the large intestine? So the large intestine, I'm going to do it up here, but you know your large intestine's down here, right? Okay, so your large intestine, we just talked about the cecum. It goes ascending colon, your liver's here, comes across transverse under your ribs, over to where your spleen is, and then it comes descending colon, and then it comes over across where the pubic bone is, and then goes down, and we call that the sigmoid and then rectum anus. Now, I will put dollars to donuts that this guy has been constipated for 20, 30 years, okay? Lawrence, you've been constipated for 20, 30 years and not knowing it. And when the waist sits, let's call this, okay, so your colon comes like this, the sigmoid, and then bends down to come down, right? And then you poop. So right here, the poop gets caught in about the first 6 inches. That's where Yan. That's why Yan is in there. That's that last 6 inches, too dry, right? But he's drinking more water now, aren't you?
I am, you know it.
Okay. Structured, okay. So anyways, so now what happened was, but I know you're going to go, this is a stretch, and I'm telling you it's not a stretch. So the poop would sit in the last part, lower part where his pubic bone is, and behind the pubic bone, because that's where the intestine comes down. Now, it's been reabsorbing waste. Now, when you come on, why do you think there's so many, come on, what was it? Let me think here. 500,000 hysterectomies last year in the United States. And that's because, guess what? the uterus and the ovaries rotted out because the constipation. I'm going to tell you right now, you will have no pelvic problems if you weren't constipated. Oh, I'd love somebody to just challenge me with this. Let's do this. Someone come on and challenge me about this. Challenge me about how bladder problems aren't caused because of constipation. Uterus problems, fallopian tube problems, ovarian problems, cysts, endometriosis, prostate problems, bladder problems. Are we done yet? Okay. All right. So now, because of his constipation, he's been reabsorbing the waste. The waste causes infection. The infection causes inflammation. I guarantee you that he has scar tissue all built up in his groin area, right by where the last part of his sigmoid colon is, and that scar tissue has actually blocked the circulation to his left testicle. And if I go in there, I'll guarantee you that if I go and I were to get him to lay on the floor, and I were to go in there and work down in the pubic bone area and the sigmoid area and down in the left side of his groin, and I were to pull that scar tissue crystallization and calcification apart, I guarantee you if I took a picture of his left testicle, which I'm sure that you're not all just jumping for joy right now, but if I took a picture before and after, 20 minutes, 25 minutes after, that those varicose veins are not going to be popping off his testicle. And that's it. Let me tell you, I had a gentleman here, 91 years old, and he's had lymph congestion in his legs, water retention in his legs for 10 years. 10 years. We did one deep tissue treatment on him, on his knees, on his ankle, and on the lower part of his leg, and the lymph congestion was gone before the treatment was done. Understand, physical blocks, okay, they don't just stop blood, lymph, they don't just stop energy flow, okay, they ruin your life. Now, if you get an actual x-ray from your doctor, okay, go get an x-ray from your doctor and say, Doc, I feel like there's something wrong there. And he's going to take an x-ray. Guess what? None of this shows up. Scar tissue doesn't show up. Crystallization doesn't show up. Calcium doesn't show up. That's why it's the great mystery to all these natural health practitioners, functional medicine doctors, even chiropractors, massage therapists. It doesn't matter. It's not just the medical system, but everybody's missed this one important part. And I'm telling you, it's life-changing. All right? Okay. Is there any other reason besides constipation that would cause bedwetting with kids? Well, yeah, sugar. Sugar will do it. Okay? Sugar and inflammation. So even too much dairy, too much sugar, too much cookies, that kind of stuff. And constipation could do it. But I'm going to tell you something. All of that was in my life. I ate a lot of junk stuff, right? I mean, back then we were eating like Alphabets, Fruit Loops. My meal was always meat and potatoes or pasta, spaghetti. But here's the deal. My mother and father never got along. And I will tell you that I would go to bed banging my head at night most nights but I didn't know I was banging my head. It's just that when I banged my head on my pillow, it really helped to soothe me. It calmed me down. But I didn't know I needed calming down. So everything was like, it was in my subconscious was running all this. But the reality is, I have to be honest with you, I really think that I wet the bed because I was always fearful that my parents, because they were always arguing all the time. That's what I would say. So I will tell you too, and please don't get me wrong, Sarah, it's not about that, but in most times, Sarah, I have to tell you that it's emotional, okay? And emotional turns into physical. So understand, emotional turns into physical. So yes, there's physical problems, but everything is invisible before it's visible, all right? Okay. My child has been losing quite a bit of hair this last while. She has gone for tests. Oh my gosh. You know what? This is the same Sarah. Sarah, okay, if this is the same daughter, or even if it isn't, people lose hair through stress. Okay, and it's usually stress on the liver, but it's stress, and it's fear again. So I don't know what's going on in your family. Are you a single mother? How are you getting along with your husband or whoever? I would take a look at that. But understand something: the hair loss should not be happening. The hair loss is trauma and fear. All right, and we do have a product called Hair Restore, and if you actually do this, your daughter does this, she may not want to, but if she starts doing this, it's called padding, okay? If she does that, and she does that for about 20 minutes on here, it will re-stimulate stem cells and the hair follicle to grow the hair back really quickly and to revive it. You know, if you use like an Avicin, or I talked about earlier, and you do the padding on the head for about 25 minutes every night, you can bald people have actually got their hair back. I'm not kidding. The fastest and most powerful thing I've ever seen to grow hair back is we use a product called Hair Restore. We use Avicin, and we get our clients to do the padding clapping. And you do it just like this. Your wrist is kind of limp, right? And you know what? It feels good. Like even somebody will call me up and I'll be on the phone and they'll go, oh my gosh, I have terrible headaches. I've had it for like 5 days. And I'll go, where is it? Well, it's just on my right side by my temple. And I go, okay, I want you to, if they have an iPhone, I'll FaceTime them and I'll show them. Okay, I want you to go and hit that area, not hit it, but pat it. And when you start easy, and then you go harder and harder. And you can go harder and it won't hurt or be traumatic to you. And then I'll say, call me back when the headache's gone. 15, 20 minutes later, headache's gone. Okay, because what we're doing is we're bringing the circulation, because there's a block in here. Okay, there's a block somewhere. You know, wherever there's pain in the body, there's a block. Oh, what is that block? Oh, wait a minute here. Scar tissue crystallization or calcium. That's it. I hope you're getting this. This is not rocket science. I'm going to tell you something. I am sitting on the holy grail of healing the physical body, and that's it. And you know what? You know, I've learned from a lot of people, but I put this together myself. And because I'm like, I never give up. And I never want you to give up on yourself. And whatever your passion and purpose is, I want you to get in there. And don't let people sway you. Don't let anything sway you. Think about what makes you happy. Think about what you want in your life, and then just go for it and know that I'm behind you, okay? All right? Okay. If you can't physically or financially move out, and you know that the person you are with is causing your illness, but you can't do a thing to change it, how do you survive? Meditation isn't working. Nothing's working. Thank you, Lisa. I'm going to tell you something, Lisa. That which created the whole universe created you. You just lied. Did your spirit lie to me? No. Did your heart lie to me? No. But your subconscious lied. There's a part of you that loves this, not loves, but feeds off this emotional or physical abuse that you're getting. Now, don't throw rotten eggs at me, anyone, because I know what I'm talking about. Whether you want to believe this or not, when somebody's walking down the street and they get mugged because of a vibration. I'm not going to get mugged. I'm not going to get beat up. You know what? I'm going to tell you, take a look, Lisa, at the upbringing you had. What was it like? Take a look, because for some reason you are with this person. You know what? The universe is amazing. It can create whatever you want. If you believe that you deserve to be treated with love, honor, respect, then you're going to have it. And when you demand it, and when you start treating yourself with love, respect, and honor, then the universe will open it up to you. Let me tell you something. There was a time when I was a practitioner many years ago, and I had to work so hard because I just always had this poverty consciousness that I got from my father, God love him. And no matter how much money I made, it wasn't enough because I just never wanted to be poor, right? But I was poor in my mind. And then what happened was I was worth about probably 3.5 million. And 7 years ago, I was worth $2,200. And it was the best thing that ever happened in my life. But the thing is, I don't need to stay there. So now I live my passion and my purpose, and I honor and I respect and I love myself. And I never worry about money, but now I make tons of it. I do. And it all goes back into creating this show, hiring people to do these shows, to do master classes, to create the library. Our Doc of Detox library cost me probably $100,000 to make. I don't make money from it. I'm trying to show you something here. I'm trying to tell you that you've limited your potential by not realizing that somebody along the way when you were younger gave you limiting beliefs. Lisa, you deserve to be physically treated like this. Lisa, you emotionally deserve to be treated like this. And I know you're not thinking that consciously or in the present moment, but that's in here or it wouldn't be happening. You need to start doing the 12 Braveheart loving steps. And the day that you tell me that you totally have unconditionally forgiven yourself for everything you've ever did or ever going to do, and you've forgiven everyone else, I promise you the people that should not be in your life that are bringing you harm and disrespecting you will not be there, because you will not be disrespecting yourself anymore. When you get to the point that you believe that you deserve the best because you are a child of God and you deserve everything. But when we come down to this planet, that's the whole deal. They tell you that you're going to have everything. They tell you you're going to be everything. They tell you you're going to have great health. And then they give you systems that undermine you and steal your health and steal your wealth and emotionally cripple you. There's not one system that I would participate out there in. Not one. No. I'm enough. You're enough. It's inside you. Lisa, go in and find it. And if you want to give me a call, I'm here for you. I'm not just going to go blah, blah. But you need to go watch the the Braveheart 12 Loving Steps in my library. And please go do that. And then give me a call and know that I'm here for you. And understand something. That person you're living with, they think that's love. They think that that is love. Oh, yeah. You know, this is going to hurt me more and it's going to hurt you. I mean, this is what they're used to. You know, I never ask a family, hey, do your family truly love each other? I would never do that because I can tell right away. That's like asking Yan. If I would have met Yan on the street or just met him and he came to work here and I said, Yan, are you constipated? He would have said no, wouldn't you?
I would have said no.
And what are you today?
Constipated.
That's right. I can't. You know what? You're ruining my reputation.
I just started here a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago.
I'm learning.
All right. Anyways, Lisa, just know that we love you, and I just need you to love yourself 100%. I need you to totally love yourself and understand how beautiful you are. That's it. Okay, Stephanie, how are you? I have breast cancer. Okay. And I also have secondary progressive MS. First, I would love to be able to heal from my MS. My entire right side has been affected. Mobility is very limited. I have had enough. 24 years. Okay, I got to tell you something. Really? Isn't that something? When people have had enough, that's when they listen to me. That's when they actually start doing anything. And then she says, any words of wisdom? Well, I hope they are. Okay? Here's the reality. In a situation like yours, it needs to be monitored properly, but we need to get into the perfect days. If you don't have a really great diet, we need to do that. And then we need to move you from there into vegetable juice fasting, and then right away into water fasting. Okay? Because I need you to understand something right now. The one thing that I truly, and everybody should truly know, is if you read the Bible and you read about Jesus and you read about fasting, Jesus fasted to raise his spirit up, to raise his vibration up. Jesus did not fast, okay, for health reasons. He might have, but not that I know of. But the reality is that if you do fasting You're going to bring your spirit up. You're going to bring your vibration up. You're going to bring up your healing potential. And that's where we want to head to. And there's lots of other things, but I don't know how you are financially. You could look at the SAC calcium. We want to look at doing things like fulvic and humic and tummy love. We want to kick in the ultimate coffee enema. We've got to do that. So if you want to give me a call, talk to me for 15 minutes. I don't mind talking. And then let's see if we get a plan. And then if you want to bring me on board, understand if you want to pay a one-time fee for the consultation, then that's it. It's game on. We're with each other, and you can call me as often as you want. And a lot of people say, how do you do it? Well, you know what? I do it. Okay? Because if the program works, we're going to make headway. And if it doesn't work, then we'll all go crazy. Okay? Have a fistula. Was it preventable with surgery? Yes. Okay, so a fistula, everybody is a fistula is caused because of constipation. You know, everybody must think that I'm just like in love with constipation. Anyways, so what happens is near the end, like the sigmoid, remember the sigmoid, and then it comes down, and then you've got your rectum, sigmoid, colon, rectum. Boom. So right there, that's where the fistula comes because of constipation. Remember when it ate out the pocket for the diverticuli? Remember the bulge coming out of the colon? Well, this doesn't do a bulge. A diverticuli could become a fistula. Do you understand? Because it a hole right through. And the problem with those, especially with women, is that it usually ends up dumping the waste into the vagina area, and that's big trouble. Or it dumps it into actually your abdominal cavity. Now, is a fistula preventable? Yes, it is. With doing rectal implants, you can heal a fistula. So how would we have healed a fistula with you, Kimberly? Well, we would have made sure that you were not eating any cooked food, any hard-to-digest food. You could be on like a fresh and raw diet, like take a look at the Perfect Day diet. And then depending on your weight, we would then look at doing some juice fasting or water fasting, and we could heal that thing in about 3 weeks. You heard what I said, 3 weeks, right? But don't worry about it. You did the surgery. The only thing is about the surgery now is the scar tissue. Now is the scar tissue causing you problems? See, that's the problem. After surgery, we're always going to have scar tissue problems. So and then guess what? And you may not believe this, depending where the fistula is, we might even have to do some deep tissue because that fistula could actually create, where they did the surgery, create scar tissue and wrap that around your coccyx tail, which is your coccyx, you know, the last part of your spine. And that coccyx has got to move. That's like the dog's tail. It's got to wag, right? And it can wrap around there. Or even from the fistula, scar tissue. So you're looking right about here. That can actually, the scar tissue from that, you have to understand, when you get surgery, the scar tissue is different than any other scar tissue. Like we create scar tissue from inflammation or sports injuries, but when you take a knife into someone, the scar tissue you create is the worst you could ever do. And so I'm not telling you not to have surgery, but if you do it, you're going to grow 2 to 3 inch legs, scar tissue legs. They wrap themselves around your intestines, choke your intestines off, or your ovaries or your uterus or wherever it's near. Like I don't even know how women can bear having a cesarean, because the scar tissue that comes off a cesarean, it can destroy your sex life. It can destroy your pooping, because the adhesions that grow in your abdomen are just horrendous. I've seen women have 15 different adhesions in their abdomen, and I don't even know how they could even survive that, because adhesions will stick the intestines. They won't, like, your intestines are supposed to move, but then they can't move and mush around. Like when you move around, all that 30 feet is moving around and bumping around, but that's cool. But as soon as you get the adhesions in there, you don't get the movement. Well, then you don't get a movement, do you? Okay. Here we are. Let me see. I know you answered this question, but I wish to bring my husband and children to do a personal treatment and training. Could you please tell me, this is from Jennifer, sorry. Please tell me and my husband what it all encompasses. My children are 8, 12, 14, And when we book, can we bring our children? Okay. Absolutely. Well, bring your children. When you come, you and your husband will be doing 25 to 30 hours where you'll be getting Wolfe non-surgical and deep tissue treatments on the different areas of your body that are troubled first, so that we can work on those twice, because you'll be here for 7 days minimum. And the children, there's a really beautiful condo called the Oasis condo that's attached to the clinic that overlooks the valley and the lake, and your kids can be there. We've got everything they want, internet over there. And we have all the energy medicine equipment in the condo, and your kids can play. And there's a provincial park across the street, an old volcano, so they can go over there and play. We have a Swedish sauna that's outside with a huge 8x8 glass window that overlooks the whole valley and the lake, so you can do the saunas. But you will be in here getting about 5 to 6 hours worth of treatment and training where you'll be treated with the deep tissue. We'll be working on those troubled areas, and we'll be videoing it all. And then you'll also get a manual from us to show you how to do it step by step. And that's about it. And we'll also be going over your diet, how to detox, and we'll be building you and your husband both personal plans. And if you have any situations with your children, we'll be going over all of that as well. That's what we do. But if you go to the library and look at the personal treatment and training guide, you'll get more information there. All right? Well, that brings us to an end, everyone. I'll tell you right now, it's been a heck of a Christmas and New Year's. I'm still, believe it or not, I'm going to finish tomorrow morning the rest of the Masterclass that's going up, the A to Z Wellness Masterclass. So on Tuesday, everybody, you'll be able to see everything there. And when you start going through the Masterclass, and you can still sign up, everyone. And if you don't want to do it, just sign up anyway, and then you'll have it. It's free. And then when you really need it, it'll be there. Or you can just pay the monthly fee to join it later. But the reality is when you're going through the master class, everyone, I want you to write your questions down and send them in to me through Facebook, Instagram, Intercom, or you can send them in live on the show. And remember, everybody, that this show will be up on Monday at noon Pacific Standard Time. And every question will be time-stamped on YouTube, so you'll be able to find it really easy. And you'll want to take a look at our schedule. We've got a lot of shows coming up now that we're into the new year. We should have had them listed for you today. But if you go to the Doc of Detox show.com, we have all the shows and everybody that we have on here. I'll have Dr. Michael Finkelstein. I'll have Del Bigtree that actually produced the movie Vaxxed. Okay. I'm going to have Cheryl Kalbaum. She is known as the Juice Lady. She's going to be on here talking about juicing. I'm going to have Peter Webb back, and he's going to be talking about frequencies and how energies and how he goes into farms and homes. And he's the one who developed the actual protector and the bodyguard that you use against EMF, Wi-Fi, things of that nature. And what we're going to be exploring is energy blocks in the body and how energy blocks create physical blocks. And that's coming up. And there's a whole bunch of other shows. Would love to see you join us. And just know this, that your health matters, your questions matter, and my staff and we're here and we're dedicated to answer your questions. Feel free to call me too if you want. My extension is 5. And don't feel bad. Don't say, Dr. Wolfe, you're so busy, I don't mean to bother you. Just say, hey, Dr. Wolfe, I have a question, and then I'm there for you, okay? And understand something. Busy people are busy people, but I chose to be busy. I love being busy, okay? Just like I'm not going to retire. So just understand something. You are our pleasure, all right? Answering questions for you and you discovering more joy in your life is what my mission is. And, some people will say, well, that's pretty corny. Well, I guess I'm just a corny guy. Have a beautiful weekend, and God bless. Thank you for showing up. If you're looking for life-saving and life-changing information, well, you've come to the right place. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Stay connected.